Coming up on Mountain News this morning, London came together to show support for people who lost their battle with addiction. And more funding is heading to North Carolina as FEMA continues its efforts to aid victims of Hurricane Helene.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning, I'm Madison Carmouche. We're at 6 o'clock this Tuesday morning. Today is October 22nd. Let's check in with meteorologist Megan Desmal for a look at your forecast this morning. Megan, I'm so excited to not have to say it's cold outside.
Yes, you're in luck. Today is not going to be cold outside. We're actually going to get up to the 70s today, so it's something to look forward to. As for fog, though, that's not something you have to look forward to either. I mean, it's going to be completely clear for the most part. There are some areas where you do have those patches. Williamsburg's at 7-mile visibility, but if you're in Middlesboro, about 0.8 miles. So if you are driving around these two cities, just make sure you're being a little bit more aware of the fog in the area. But our current temperatures, they're not going to be cold, just a little chilly. You might need that jacket as you're heading out the door if you're like me. Mostly looking at that 40-degree range with a couple of cities in the 50s already. 50 for Pikeville, 53 for Jackson. But we will be continuing to warm up. So if you need a jacket this morning, you definitely won't need it for this afternoon. We're looking in the upper 70s for the most part. Hazard will be 77 today for your high, and as we go into the next 12 hours, it'll be nice and sunny and no chance for rain today. That sunrise will be at 7:49 a.m. and a beautiful day is ahead of us. Madison?
All right, Megan, thank you. People in North Carolina are still dealing with widespread damage nearly 1 month after Hurricane Helene slammed parts of the United States. The federal government has been there for weeks helping with recovery and repair. Now FEMA is announcing more help for those affected. Maribel Gonzalez tells us about the agency's new program.
North Carolina grappling with the destruction left behind by Hurricane Helene.
Sadly, we have 95 storm-related fatalities over 21 counties.
The federal government approving more than $300 million in assistance and debris removal. And now more help is on the way.
The government will create a brand new program for assistance.
The Biden administration announcing a new community liaison program where representatives will serve as, quote, trusted messengers between FEMA and affected residents. This new aid coming as the Tar Heel state is not only dealing with damage, but also combating misinformation.
Donald Trump is coming to Asheville today. I'm asking that he not share lies or misinformation.
Former President Donald Trump continuing to fuel inaccurate claims about the federal response to Helene.
In North Carolina's hour of desperation, the American people answered the call much more so than your federal government.
Such claims North Carolina's Democratic Governor Roy Cooper dispels and says are getting in the way of helping those who need it.
Many survivors of this storm lost everything. They want help and they want the truth.
Last weekend, a North Carolina man was arrested for allegedly threatening harm against FEMA employees there to help with Helene recovery.
To truly help people, we must check party politics at the door.
I'm Maribel Gonzalez reporting.
Students from Perry County Central High School have collected donations for babies impacted by Hurricane Helene. Set up by the speech and debate team, each class was in competition to get the most amount of items. Coach Samantha Turner says as the donations began to trickle in, it soon became overwhelming with more than 1,000 items.
Well, I was overwhelmed. When I sent the final email out to the staff, the heading, I just put wow. Because that's the only word I had was wow. Myself or the other, my speech team had no plans on the drive being this big.
Turner says the students wanted to give back to babies after seeing several without food, clothes, and diapers. She says the items will be driven by the Roscoe's Daughter nonprofit. Items will be taken to North Carolina, Tennessee, and Virginia. New Frontier Outfitters in Moorhead is also sending help for those impacted by Hurricane Helene. They are donating $100,000 worth of clothing to to go to the hardest hit areas. They say the trucks will head out this weekend to a distribution center in North Carolina. New Frontier is also selling t-shirts, sweatshirts, and other items to help these efforts. The opioid epidemic impacts the lives of thousands of folks throughout Kentucky. And last night, the City of London honored those who lost their lives fighting addiction. The London Police Department, Laurel County Sheriff's Department, Operation Unite, and others took part in the Embracing Hope event at the London Community Center. London Police Department Public Affairs Officer Hobie Darty says having so many organizations involved in the fight against addiction shows folks they are serious about making a difference.
It's a really good thing that we can have so many organizations that are a part of the one team, one fight, and has the same mindset of bringing resources to our communities so that we can save lives.
The 2023 Kentucky drug overdose says nearly 2,000 people in the state died of drug overdoses. The 2024 Kentucky Opioid Symposium is underway in Louisville. The goal of the two-day event is to bring experts together as well as advocates, practitioners to determine how to handle recovery, prevention, and treatment. Attorney General Russell Coleman gave some remarks at the event yesterday, and today State Treasurer Mark Metcalf is expected to speak. The Texas legislature hosted a hearing about the death row inmate whose execution in a controversial shaken baby murder case was halted last week. Robert Roberson did not appear at yesterday's hearing in person. The 57-year-old was convicted of murdering his 2-year-old daughter by shaking her in 2003. But his attorneys argued the toddler died from pneumonia. Television doctor Phil McGraw, who has interviewed Roberson in prison, testified before the panel.
I don't think we have the wrong person. I don't think a crime was committed. I think this was a case where, tragically, a child was chronically and acutely ill. I think there was some problems with medication, and I think that contributed. But I certainly don't think that this child was aggressed against.
Roberson was diagnosed with autism after his conviction. At least 34 shaken baby cases have been exonerated in 18 states and the U.S. Army since 1992. In Bell County, a woman is facing charges after police say she assaulted an officer. Police responded to the incident when a woman was lying on the ground screaming on Sunday. Another person later told police she picked Erica Givens up and was going to take her to the hospital. When police left the scene, they noticed another car speeding up to them. Police say it was Givens driving it, which then crashed into them. She later began hitting an officer before being arrested. A Pulaski County man is in jail after police found drugs inside a home. The incident began when police say they were conducting surveillance on a known drug trafficker in the Slate Branch Road area last week. After obtaining a search warrant, police went to a home on Daring Lane to execute it. When police arrived, they found meth, marijuana, digital scales, and cash. 58-year-old Paul Skip Bell was taken to the Pulaski County Detention Center. A man is facing charges after he reportedly broke into a storage unit in Laurel County. London police say they received reports that 28-year-old Cody Collett had reportedly broken into a storage unit at McKnight Rental. Collett was arrested on charges of burglary and criminal mischief. He was taken to the Laurel County Correctional Center. Police in Whitley County are looking for a thief. Williamsburg police posted this surveillance video from the Exxon gas station on Highway 92 last week. It happened before midnight on October 13th. You can see the thief taking cartons of cigarettes. Anyone with information is asked to call Williamsburg police at 606-549-6017.
It's a nice clear morning, and it will be a nice clear day. Taking a look at that satellite and radar, you can see there's nothing going on, no rain, not a lot of clouds, and there's barely any fog this morning. If you are in Middlesboro, a half-mile visibility as well as Ashland, but overall it's going to be a nice clear day. And those temperatures this morning are a little bit chilly, so you might need a light jacket, or if you're like me, a little bit of a heavier jacket. But we will be warming up into those temperatures, so by the time you get to the afternoon, that will not be needed at all. We're seeing the upper 70s across the board, so it really will be a beautiful afternoon with those nice and sunny skies. 77 here in Hazard, 79 in Williamsburg, so definitely really getting up to those temperatures. But as you're going through your day, you'll see those sunny skies continue, and we'll reach that high temperature around that 4 p.m. mark. Be nice and clear skies overnight as well. Sunrise this morning will be at 7:49 a.m. and I'll have the ARH 7-day forecast in just a couple of minutes. Madison.
Thank you, Megan, and thank you for joining us on Mountain News this morning. More news is on the way. When we return, it's officially 2 weeks until Election Day, and candidates are doing their best to court voters who are still undecided.